All right, you ready?
Fire away.
All right, let's do it. Good morning. How is everybody today? Good? It's a beautiful day outside, right? This is our monthly construction update. We are back after a month hiatus, Todd and I.
We got out of jail, so that's good.
That's right. Our suspension's over. For those who don't know me, I'm Sean Bluebaum. I'm our project executive for the Royal Oaks, all the Royal Oaks work that we're doing out here. You got Todd, who most of you know. He's our senior superintendent over all the work out here on campus. And today we brought the new guy, that's Corbin, and I'll let him introduce himself and talk about himself a little bit. But he joined our team 2 months? Yeah, 2 months ago, and we're super happy to have him. So he's going to introduce himself as well. So with that, we'll get going with our update. If I got to turn this thing on, that would help.
See what happens when we're gone for a month.
Yeah.
Forget how to do it. Rookie.
Yeah. So here's the rendering. As always, that's what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it looks like as of a couple of days ago. So really getting close. It looks really neat. I think you'll enjoy today. We've got a little bit different drone flight. We don't have as many buildings to cover. So Glenn did a really good job of sort of showing this in relation to the entire campus with the flight. So pretty cool. So with that, our agenda is, as always, starting with the safety share. Want to keep that top of mind. First thing that we think of. It is Safety Week, which I know that the team talked to everybody about last month, so I won't get in the weeds too much on that. But we did this morning watch a presentation on fall protection, so that was pretty neat for everybody, and looked at a lot of different gear. Then we'll do a project overview update, lots of pictures, drone flight, and we'll talk about upcoming work. And as always, questions and answers, whether it's at the end or in the middle or at the beginning, just raise your hand and we'll answer any questions you might have. So with that, Corbin is going to start us off with our safety share.
I'm actually going to start us off with a dad joke.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, so what do mermaids wash their fins with? Anybody? No takers? Tide.
Tide.
But
I'm a dad, so it's got to come with it. You got a deal. Okay, so today we're going to be mixing it up a little bit. I am Corbin. I am a field super, new to Sundt. Happy to be here. Happy to be working on your future homes and amenities. Closer?
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry. Okay, so pretty happy to be out here. It's a great project, great team. Loving it so far. I think it's going to be a great project once it's done. I'm hopefully to see it through with you guys. So today I'm going to go through a little bit different safety share. We're going to tie it in with your future homes and what to look out for. We have plenty of protections in place with your fire protection system, call-out system, everything. But here are a few things that we can do to keep ourselves safe in the home. So, stuff that catches fire. So the first thing, the most common 4 things that fire department sees in house fires is cooking. So not knowing how to put out, say, a grease fire. A lot of people throw some water on it. It's the worst thing you can do to a grease fire. So usually it's some kind of a dry chemical, a K-type extinguisher. Having the right type of extinguisher in your house is crucial, especially in the kitchen. So the second would be heating. Any kind of weird fireplaces. If you move into a new home, here we don't have fireplaces, but most places, new homeowners that are not familiar with fireplaces, how to run them, new heating systems, faulty systems, things that haven't been checked, things like that are good to keep an eye out for. Third are electrical fires, mostly around Christmas time. So you can imagine you get a dry pine, you got every kind of plug hooked up to that thing, and you say, I could just put one more in there, it'd be fine. But usually it's not. So keep an eye out for that could not be for Christmas time only, but overloading outlets, things like that, things going to fault. And then the fourth would end up being cigarettes and candles. There's an interesting statistic on the number of house fires caused by cats catching on fire with a candle. They run around, they catch on fire, they hit curtains, they hit everything else. So being mindful of where you place candles. I have young kids at home, I'll get to that. But they are pulling chairs up, they're getting into everything. They're pushing candles around, anything that's on the counter. They're surfers, they'll get everything.
So hold on. So I did not heard this cat thing. So
Yeah,
you're
it's-
telling me there's stats on cats
Catching on
fire from candles?
Yep, fluffy tails.
What are the numbers? This is
I
exciting.
can't
See,
remember
look at
the
all you
stats.
dog owners. You guys are so
Wow.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
curious cats, Curiosity killed the cat, and it also caught it on fire.
Wow.
So,
all right.
yeah.
Good to know.
That's awesome.
That's a great stat.
Yeah. So house fires peak for cooking hours between 5 and 8. That I think is accounted for by grease fires and not having a turkey in the oven too long, or you pull it out, things like that. You also have cooking equipment is responsible for a majority of house fire related injuries. So if you have gas, if you have electric, say you go wipe down the top of the electric range and that sucker starts smoldering, you throw it in the trash, boom, there's your trash can fire. There's a litany of other things. 20% of house fires occurred between 11 and 7. However, these fires caused half of all the home deaths. That's a pretty deep statistic to kind of get into. There'd be a number of different reasons, but majority of house fires happen while somebody is home is, I think, what you need to take away from that. So if you want to go to the next slide.
Sure.
So methods of prevention. So this is where we get into what we have installed for you, what we have coming in your future homes, and also things to keep into account if it's not there, something to look for. So making sure smoke detectors. I know we have maintenance probably goes through, check smoke detectors, things like that. But if you hear one start beeping, you see it flashing, something to keep an eye out for. It'll flash red usually when the battery's low. It'll beep real loud and often. Second thing is having the correct type of fire extinguisher in the home. Say a K-type fire extinguisher should be in a kitchen. That would be good for grease fires. An ABC is dry chemical, but more likely than not, it's just going to spread the grease fire if it's not a type K. I'm having a hard time reading that back there. Have an evacuation plan, so not just for kids, but anybody else who might live in your home as well. Making sure you have a good path of egress in case of emergencies. It's good to have and practice as often as you can. And then lastly, fire drills. I don't think you need to go run around in your house scream fire, but probably a good idea to know when you should leave the house. So that's what I have for fire prevention.
I will tell my own story, since it's probably been a while since I did it, but my wife and I guess collectively started the, what do you call it?
Air
Air fryer on fire a couple of years ago. So you think about where you put that. It's sitting on your counter, usually under the cabinets, and we look over and all this smoke is coming up. Basically, she had hit the on button to start it heating up, and the manual was inside of it. So luckily, I had a fire extinguisher nearby in the kitchen and got to use it.
Then you got to clean it up too.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's correct. That's a very good. And that's right. Read the directions before you hit the on button, right? Well, nothing after that. The manual was. Oh, that's a good point. That's right.
Oh,
that's a very
what
good point.
is cooking? Yes. Yeah.
That's a good point. Good. So, okay. Corbin, why don't you talk a little bit about why you work safe?
These guys right here and my beautiful wife, Courtney. So the one on the left, they're both hellions. They both climb. They're both wild little boys. They're all boy and all gas, no brake. So the one on the left is Levi. He's 2.5. The one on the right in the left picture, that is Luke, and he just turned a year. They were both running by 9 months before they knew what no was. So me and my wife, Courtney, we've been together 6 years.
Oh, you better memorize that date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told her when we got together that I'm not a dates guy, so we might just put it on the calendar. So we've been together 6-7 years, about 6.5 years. And she is a registered nurse. We're both Arizona natives. I'm from Globe. She is originally from San Francisco, moved here when she was 6. I like to get out in nature as much as I can. I love to hunt. I love to fish. I like to take those two little guys and run them tired in the woods as much as I can. And then other than that, just being home with these guys.
Good. Good. Why don't you tell them just real quick what you're in charge of for us?
So right now I'm on, you guys have met Alex. I am on buildings D and E with Alex. He has everything from the unit entry, from the front door, everything in the unit. Everything in the unit is his. Everything that's outside the unit is mine. So I have the corridors, I have the electric rooms, I got bridges, elevators, stairs, everything else. So
Good.
Alex is in there making it all nice and pretty, and I'm catching up behind him. So
Very good. All right. Thank you, Corbin. Let's get into the drone video and pictures. And
Awesome.
And, yeah,
Real quick on the safety note, I know Sean mentioned it earlier, and we did a lot of extensive talk about Safety Week last week, so we're in the throes of that right now. Just want to give you all a heads up that tomorrow at 9 a.m., we are going to be doing a controlled burn on our little lay-down storage area. So we have enlisted the help of Sun City Fire Department to come on out. We found out last year they're really horrible at lighting fires. It took them 45 minutes last year to light a fire.
yeah.
But they're good at putting them out, and that's what's most important. So we've upped our game plan this year, and now we know how we're going to start the fire, but the purpose of the exercise is to give multiple people out in the field the opportunity to use the fire extinguisher. Nothing is worse than having a fire extinguisher out there and not knowing how to use it. And it's amazing to see the number of people that actually go out there and try and put a fire out incorrectly. So we're going to afford that opportunity to teach people on our construction site if they ever encounter such a situation on how to go through and put it out. So if anybody sees a fire, we started it on purpose. And we will have water truck, and the fire truck will be there, the fire department. One of the engine companies will be out here, and the Sun City Fire Marshal will be with us. So it's all under close watchful eye, but I just wanted to let you guys know if you see anything, please don't panic, don't call security.
Yeah.
We got this one.
Yeah.
If it's after 10:30 and you see something
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
call security.
Or not on the land, right?
Yeah. Or if it's not on that land,
Yeah.
yeah. Let somebody know, please.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So the location of this would be south of Building D. We call it our construction laydown area. It's kind of it's sort of closer to Santa Fe Drive. That's where we have our connexes and our storage, and some of our craft parking stuff is there, or foreman parking is there. That's where that big, huge Mount Royal Oak dirt pile was. Well, we're going to do it close to the dirt because dirt doesn't burn too easily. So that's where that's going to be. So 9 a.m. It'll be at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So most folks shouldn't see it, but if you happen to be driving by or something, don't panic.
Yeah.
We got this under control.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Todd.
No problem.
You can watch as guys continue to run as fast as they can towards the fire and blow out the extinguisher in about 1 second incorrectly. That would be some viewing pleasure, but okay. So let's get to the drone flight.
Cool.
This is a little bit, like I said, a little bit longer. We combined the main Inspirata Pointe and Vita Center to one drone flight this month. A little bit less to look at as far as trying to hover over each building. So let's do it. There's the courtyard.
This is the courtyard outside of Building F and G, the fountain. It does have water in it right now. As we fly through the courtyard quickly, we're building 2 more fountains right there.
Yep.
So this is what it looks like between Building C and Building D. That's kind of our still construction area for getting dumpsters loaded up, get trash out of the building. And this is a view looking north. As you go around the south side of Building D, there's our laydown yard off to the left. That's where the fire is going to be. Yep. You can see we got the trees are taking really good shape there up against the neighboring commercial property.
It'll slow down a bit, by the way.
And
It's
we've adjusted the fence so that we kind of keep ourselves in containment. Here's buildings F and G. We've gone through and got all the fencing, construction fencing down around there, and been getting the outside of the building all spiffied up, landscape complete. There's a couple guys working on the water feature right down there. That's where the vault is that takes care of all the filtration for it. And then, wow, Glenn's a fast pilot today.
yeah.
Must have come out of Luke Air Force Base, didn't
It'll.
he?
We've got still shots of a lot of this stuff too. So
Yeah, so this is,
don't feel like you got to be the fastest 3 minutes on television.
I didn't practice my auctioneer voice.
Yeah.
So,
But he'll hover for a while around building D, and he'll hover for a while, or F and G, I'm sorry, and then hover around D and E.
yeah, so you can see we've got all the landscaping done around the buildings. This would be the front entrance to building G. All the glass that is in the classroom there. This is the other side of the classroom. This is just outside of Azul. We got some furniture. The furniture, fixtures, and equipment folks were out last week. You can see that there's stuff around the future employee patio there. And then we've still got a little bit of our construction area kind of up against building G or F there. But, ooh,
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah. I'm impressed he didn't hit anything.
Yeah, good job.
Or at least he didn't tell us he hit anything.
Yeah, well, it's still flying, so that's good. But yeah, that's the north side of building D, kind of over the courtyard again, looking to the south, where the water features are on the right-hand side. We've got a gas line connection down to the parking garage there. And you can see on the south side of building D, we've got a whole bunch of outside stuff complete, handrails and things of that sort. More handrails on the north face of we call it the west wing over there of building D. And everything's kind of getting more narrowed down. We're kind of squeezing ourselves out of real estate as we progress, which is great. That makes things more challenging. And then this is the north side of building E with the ramp to the parking garage in the bottom of the screen. So you get a chance to see all the outside stuff we're doing. We're more focused on the outside exterior skin of building D, and we'll be getting over to E in the near future. But again, that's a flight back away from building F through the
Now
courtyard.
He's gonna go down across campus, head towards Vita.
Put your
So,
seatbelts on, strap on
Pretty
in.
cool.
Here we
You can
go.
see, how it integrates with the whole rest of campus, and then we go that way,
Yeah, so we're eastbound.
going east.
Yep, beautiful day.
Yeah.
So you can see us flying over existing Royal Oaks. Super cool. Well, we're over to Vita
We're
Center
over to
already.
Vita.
So this is this would be the west face of Vita Center, and this is the south elevation. All the gun slot windows, we call them there. That's where the therapy pool is at. Got our concrete forces out there. We're pouring sidewalks today, but they're in that picture getting them formed up. And you can see we've got all the building stucco done, painted, parapet cap on. Just organizing some of our materials, getting things out of here so we can continue the site work. Getting ready for electrical energizing this week. We paved recently. As you can see in this photo, we're in the process of paving there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a video of a little bit of paving going on here too. It's all paved now, and as Todd said, we're doing sidewalks and things like that are behind the curb. But this video was taken on Thursday, was when we paved last week.
Yep. So
that is incredibly sped up. That's how slow that thing is going. Right?
yeah. So there you go. You can see our paving operations. Always instant gratification of turning something to a surface you can drive on in the near future. So yeah, good looking site over there. Again, just still some site work operations going on, and we'll get into discussing all that's happening inside the building here in just a moment. But great opportunity for work in action. Seeing the stuff we do that you guys can't necessarily see. There's all the mechanical units up on the roof. So things are in great shape for getting those started up over the next week. And you can see just a great, it looks almost like the picture. Looks like the plan, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then look back the other way.
Yeah, there you go. There's Inspirata Pointe over there.
So All right. Any questions on the drone? Like I said, we have a bunch of still pictures too, if you had any more. So, uh, yeah, it's really looking neat. Looks like a campus, right? Looks cool. So, okay. So now let's get some progress photos so Todd can take a breath or two. That'd be a good idea. We'll start with the D and E building. The outside you pretty much saw on the drone shots, but it's a lot of handrails at this point and things finishing off the balconies,
Yeah,
basically on the
a lot of
outside.
tile operations on the
Yeah.
on the balcony patios and getting a lot of the decorative metal on, so we can. The next phase is getting ready for the sliding sunshades.
Yep. This is Todd mentioned it, but we are putting in a gas line that basically feeds some boilers down in the garage. So we got that going on, and then really, the majority of the landscaping and site stuff was done in the previous phases. So there's not a lot to do here on the site, but there is water features. So those are going hot and heavy. This is actually taken. I took this morning right before we came over here. So that's as current as it can get on the big water feature.
Yes, they are chronologically out of sequence, so you'll have to read right to left here.
Yeah.
So that's what the masonry structure is. That contains a water feature on the left-hand side. You can see that sort of tannish color application. That's the waterproofing latticrete that goes behind the tile system.
Chronologically out of. See, I did that to test you. That's pretty good.
Big words. Don't ask me to spell them. That's
Yeah.
why I'm in construction. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the question is how does that water feature play into future water conservation? Was the question? Yeah. So, I don't know anything about the calculations of how much water that is going to use. We've been asked that in the past. There is I think in the drone video, between buildings G and B, there's a couple of pipes that stick up out of the ground. That's where the vault is. So all the mechanical equipment's down in a pit, subgrade, and the water, water comes in off of the landscape irrigation side that feeds the makeup system of the water. So I don't know. I'm not a pool guy. I don't have a pool, so I don't know what the consumption of those water features are. But they're not that large of a surface area. So usually you get the evaporation off the surface area volume. So I wouldn't assume they'd use more than a couple hundred gallons a month out of all three water features.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in the dead of summer, you might evaporate like an inch of surface water in a 24-hour period. Be about what that would worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of what you're replacing on a daily basis. But that's in the dead of summer.
In the driest conditions and prior to monsoon season. So.
All right, so I put this together because this is sort of the three phases that we're at in the 4-story in building D and E right now. We've got areas that are getting insulated right now. We've got areas that have been drywalled and they're taped, and we have units that are painted, and we're getting ready to start cabinets. So it's all three of those stages you could find if you walked out there right now.
Correct.
This is sort of a cool sequence. Our field engineer, Maddie, that's on that building, she specifically made this slide because she thought it showed the sequence of gypcrete really well, right? So you had it just placed all the way to where then it's been there for a little bit, and they've getting ready to texture. So once we tape all the drywall, then typically that's when the gypcrete is. Sometimes after texture, but sometime right around post-taping or post-tape and texture of drywall, that's when we come in and place all the gypcrete flooring underneath there.
So since last month's presentation, we've gone through and applied, laid down the gypcrete flooring system for second, third, and fourth floor for the building D, the west wing. So we've been moving right along, clicking through those things, and that's great because as Corbin said, he's doing the back of house stuff. So he's doing the electric rooms. The electric rooms feed power to the units. The individual living units get the panels energized after all of the millwork is in, and then we're getting ready to do flooring. So it's a really fast paced. Things are clicking along. Up in the north side of Building D, I'm sure you'll see some pictures. We're just cranking through doing HVAC system stuff right now. So, and that's the corridor that Corbin lives in quite a bit, getting ready for balance of hanging drywall there, and then future tape texture and pretty finishes in the near future. So,
This is for Corbin. These are back of house areas, not units.
Yeah.
So.
This will end up being This will
ahead.
end up being the elevator lobby in D, going towards the bridge towards E. On the left picture, right-hand picture looks a little different today. In this room, we have all of the gear, all of the transformers, all of the conduits and things run. Try and get air on for these guys on the first floor.
You can see it's kind of dark in there. Corbin lives in the shadows. We don't know where he's at most of the time.
Right around, there's a corner. I'm around that corner.
So all the main electric has been in for a long time. We are fully energized by APS at the gear, and all of that large voltage heads down to the basement. There's a large electric room there, and then after that basement, it splits off and goes to two different electric rooms both in Building D. One close to the lobby here, which happens to be the picture that has the mechanical pads in it, and then there's another one up in the north wing of Building D.
Yeah, this room actually supplies power to both D and E. North side of D is supplied by its own electric room.
Going to move on to F and G unless you have anything more for D and E.
Oh no, it's pretty fabulous. It's looking good. We can move on to F and G. That building is, well, you guys be the judge of it. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, we think we're pretty proud of everything we're doing out here, and we're really excited to show you the restaurants basically and the bar because it looks pretty great. For months I've been complaining that nobody ever gives me exterior pictures of this building. So again this month nobody did. So I walked out this morning and took those two. So that's the exterior. You got your golf cart parking. This is a big Panda door, indoor outdoor area, and then as you walk in, there is the lobby. So really neat.
So that's the lobby. On the left-hand side is the lobby of Building G. So off to the leftish side of the picture would be the entrance from the drop-off zone. The right-hand side where the doors are open, they lead you out to what we know is what we've been calling the breezeway. And like I said, the last week was a hot and heavy, hands everywhere, boxes flying, setting furniture week last week. So
yep. You'll probably see a couple boxes still in these pictures.
You probably, yeah. So, and then the right-hand side, that is a view inside the bar, kind of looking towards I call it the sort of hallway between that and one of the dining venues. So
there's the bar.
This is that hallway, view into the bar. So this is what it looks like when you walk on in, and this is like kind of a more grand entrance into the beverage consumption location.
Yeah. You got your outdoor fireplace right there. Sitting area out in that breezeway Todd was talking about. And then if you were standing like right here, this is that outdoor donut area that we saw the small fountain in. It'd be like
water feature.
Right here,
yeah. Corbin and I would be in the fountain right now. All right. Some more pictures of the breezeway and seating outside the dining and bar venues there. And then the right-hand side is real early on last week of the casual dining facility. There's a couple tables were just sort of temporary. We brought them, unboxed them, set them up so folks could have planned tables and sit in. But you can see we've got the decorative cacti back in those planters up there. So space looks really great. And then on the left-hand side, you can see the pizza oven in the background there. I promise you we didn't move it. It's still in the same spot it was a few months ago.
Yep.
But we got everything's all closed up. We got all the heat lamps installed and, peeled all the protection off the carpet. And then on the right-hand side happens to also be part of the bar with the decorative terracotta wall systems there. Super cool looking stuff.
Yeah, one of the great things that the designers did is there's just all sorts of different textures and looks and feels of things, right? From these terracotta, I don't know if you call them bricks, but terracotta sort of brick things to smooth fabric to this custom wood. It's really nice.
Very impressive,
Yeah,
actually.
very impressive. Yeah. And there are areas that are not the bar and not the restaurant, so I didn't want to leave those out.
There's the classroom.
Yeah.
So it's known to us as the classroom. So there'll be all kinds of unique opportunities for functions and meetings there. That's the left-hand side. Sean was talking about how nobody supported his efforts in asking for exterior pictures. That picture he was referencing happens to be that one window system, if you want to point at it. That whole window system is actually a door. It opens up. So it'll be an indoor-outdoor space. And then on the right-hand side, still during furniture installation, but this is a view down the hallway in Building G to the south. And in the background of that picture will be everybody's favorite spot to collect their bills at the mailroom.
That's right. That's why I disappointed myself, because I thought to myself when I put this that I should have gone out and gotten a picture of that mailroom, because the mailroom is actually really cool.
Mailroom's gorgeous.
Really,
for a
really
mailroom.
pretty.
Yeah. Nobody will ever go postal in there.
Yeah, yeah. If you do,
Bad joke, sorry.
If they do, they're just very unhappy, because it's not because of the room.
It's gorgeous.
The room is great.
It's a very happy space.
So yeah, so mailroom and community room, and we've got a nice mariner teal color floor.
Ah, jeez.
So that's good, and yeah.
I think my favorite fixture in this whole building is the mailroom halo light. It is a really cool light.
It is a neat looking light fixture.
Yeah. So So any questions on the restaurant and bar area? We could take the whole time with pictures of that place, because it's really stunning. But you guys will see it for yourself pretty soon here. So. All right, let's get some shots of Vita. We've got some good pictures there. Like we talked about, that's all paved now. We're working on concrete sidewalks and things of that nature. We've got a couple of action shots down the way. The reason that this picture is in here is there's a lot of work going on right here, right now. So if you were to walk out to Vita, you would see a lot of activity right sort of where it ties into the rest of campus, with walks and curbs and grades and drives and things of that nature.
Poof. It's just that fast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's paved.
All of a sudden, that's right.
Yep.
So I heard that last month, some of the feedback, I always tell our team, feedback is a gift, right? And the feedback that we got was that we wanted some pictures of the crane lifting the pool. So we did throw a couple of those in there.
We're going to go back in time.
Yeah, we'll go back in time. This is the crane first getting the pool up in the air and lifting down into the pit. And that is Glenn and Sierra smiling, just because they wanted to be in the picture, I think. But also because we did a little lunch over there for the guys when that happened. So had a taco truck out there.
Super cool.
For everybody. So am I in your way? I'm sorry.
So the picture on the left shows it just barely like 6-8 feet off the ground, about ready to fly into the space itself. And then the picture on the right, I'll stand out of the way, happens to show what it looks like as we're starting to drop it into the hole or into the room. And then shortly thereafter, we use the same crane to go through and lift all the joists and structural steel that goes in around the water features.
Yeah, so it'll show you that in this picture.
Oh, poof, there's the joists. So that's what it looks like from the roof side looking down.
So you can see why we couldn't do the roof until we got the pool in there, right? It's pretty much hemmed in by beams, right? So.
Yep. Now that's all concrete, and ceilings are in, and ductwork is in now. The roof is on and dried in. So things have been really moving along.
Yep. So over at Vita, it is a drywall party over there.
It's a sanding party now.
Yeah, not dry. The drywall's hung, and now it's being taped and mudded and getting ready for finish. So that's happening in every room over there, pretty much. This, you say, why is Sean showing me a picture of a plain wall? That's because that is where what's it called, a ballet bar goes, and that's all mirrors for the physical therapy on that wall. So that wall is actually fairly important, fairly cool. And then you've got a wet wall in some of the
Salon area.
yeah, probably the salon.
Mhm.
And then there's your pool out there now. As Todd said, roof's on. This was some scaffolding that we made because we then had to get up and tie in everything above the pool, and we couldn't do it from ladders or lifts because there's a pool there, right? So we built what they call a dance floor. And
Yep. That picture was about a week and a half ago,
Yeah.
I'd say. And the picture on the right is looks almost close to Monday when we're in there. We got all the soffits built. Where the box that says E and K on it, that happens to be sitting on top of the pool protection in the middle of the room, and then we're going through and doing the soffits and things of that sort. So.
yeah. So
Well, actually,
all of
that's occupational therapy. Actually, that's just the
yeah,
south. I'm sorry.
yeah. All of this is down now. That's all done. If you went down into the pit, when you looked at this picture, there's nothing there. If you went down into the pit today, this is filled with piping and pool equipment and all of that kind of stuff at this point. So a lot of work's been done in and around that pool area. So before we move on from Vita, any questions on Vita? Like I say, it's clicking right along. It's getting ready for paint.
Electric meter got set from APS this week. We're about ready to do the power on date, which is great. So,
Which was actually, there's a little story behind that. It was really great because APS first told us it would be June 12th before they could get their power there. So, and that through a lot of efforts of a lot of people was moved up to now.
we're going to get it on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. So
Sounds like a margarita
so
to
yeah,
celebrate.
so we're very pleased with that. Team did an amazing job. Just sort of, hey, that date's not what we need. Let's talk about that some more, right? And so yeah, we're excited for that. And why does Todd keep bringing up power? Because power leads to air conditioning, which this time of year is what we need in order to place cabinets, right? We can't just do that in the summer. The wood can't take the heat, so we need that air conditioning to really finish it out. All right, let's talk about what's upcoming.
Lots of upcoming stuff.
Yeah. So here's where we're at. This is the slide I show every month. So villas, those are turned over. B and C were turned over. F and G, I gave it a check mark because we have occupancy from the county, so and the fire marshal. So, but I gave it a check mark and I added this little asterisk HD up here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because the health department inspection is not complete yet. So that's basically what we're waiting on. We have full occupancy from the county. We have, or I should say, temporary occupancy from the county. We have fire marshal sign off on all the life safety. Essentially, everything is done. It's just pending the health department coming out and blessing the kitchen, which is scheduled for later this month. So that in a couple weeks, as soon as the health department says they're good to cook, county will change that temporary occupancy to a full occupancy, and we'll be good to go. But right now, they're allowing, I know, Gretchen to have a meeting in there if she wants. I know they're allowing some usage of it, just not cooking until health department sign off.
Perfect.
And then building D&E, we're still staying in progress. Like we've been talking about, we're looking at late summer for these buildings, early fall, late summer, that August-ish area. And then Vita Center is June, and I don't see, barring something unforeseen, that shouldn't be an issue. I think construction-wise, we're right around Memorial Day. It'd be things like, certain sign-offs and things that push that into June. Countertops, they take about 3 weeks right now after you template them. So there's some things like that take a little bit. But yeah, construction-wise, that thing is buttoning up quick. Any questions on any of that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On building E, last month you said that building E was paused, and the predicted time was September, and then there was
A mumble.
Maybe that was a throat
I did-
clearing.
it could have
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So it's not. So what we've done is our original construction sequence had to go from this area to this area to this area, and the reason being is because this is over the garage, so we couldn't build it until the garage was done. We couldn't even build the foundations for it, right? And so what we've done is we said, okay, but what these buildings are going to open this way, right? So let's take the labor, if we can, out of here and put it into this sort of northern area to try to catch up that wing so that all of building D can open as soon as possible, and it's not waiting for this. This isn't totally paused. It's still clicking along. We're still drywalling and doing roughing and thing in there. We're just not sacrificing labor in D to build E. And in 2023, I wish I could tell you there was enough labor to be in all areas of that at once. There just isn't, right? And so we that's what I meant by E is paused. It's just secondary because it's going to open second. So right now, our focus is getting D open. We know that everybody would like it by August. We're doing everything we can to get it by August, if not sooner. We'd like it done sooner, but it's not super easy to speed that up from there, which is our problem. I get it, but we're really targeting August for D, and assuming that E stays sort of behind it, that's where the September date is coming for E. Does that make sense? Yeah, yes, sir. That, so the question was, and we've gotten this, so I should clarify it. So the question was, when I say August or September, that's not really the date that people are moving in. That's correct. When you move in is between Royal Oaks and you, and what works for all parties, right? The dates that I'm saying are when we are forecasting county approval to occupy, right? Because without that, nobody can use anything, right? So everything we do schedule wise is targeted towards when we can get the earliest possible occupancy approval from the county.
Yeah, so we've been, as in both buildings B and C, we have been working with facilities to mobilize in there early on certain applications. Let's say somebody picks window blinds, or somebody picks some different chandeliers or ceiling fans and things of that sort. We're working with Royal Oaks real closely that even if we don't have occupancy, we're going to let the facilities folks get in there and do those kinds of things, because that's not a showstopper. Now, if somebody's picked some features and worked out with facilities about going through and closing rooms off and making them dens later on, or they don't like the cabinets that were already pre-selected and they get switched out. Those are the things that will be happening post-completion with us in the county. We've got to get that sign off first before I call it larger work can happen, and reconstruction can happen inside those units. So we have to get the completion first for those large construction entities, but we are working closely to make sure that folks can get in and get those simpler, I call them bolt-on things that are pretty easy to put in.
Yeah.
So that'll help speed up the process from the time we get certificate of occupancy to from the county to when you guys are all working with Royal Oaks to gain the scheduled occupancy to your specific units.
Yeah, we do communicate quite frequently with the Royal Oaks team as far as what units have which move-in dates projected, so we can make sure, we've got 99 units. We won't have 99 units of appliances show up on the same day, right? So how do we sequence that? Which units need them first? Which, those type of things. So there's a lot of people on the Royal Oaks side putting in a lot of effort to make sure that everything is sequenced based on when the people want to move in, and then that we know that. Let's see, what else? Any other questions on that? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So
I'll let Todd answer.
the question was, where is the landscape going to be looking like once we have certificate of occupancy inside the courtyard of D? We call it the dog leg in there. That's kind of our laydown. You've seen some pictures where dumpsters and stuff are. And I'll get to answering that question in just a minute when I start talking about all the upcoming work. So if you give me just a moment, I'll tie it all in with how things are looking.
You are going to see some of that stuff start to happen soon.
Yes.
So you will see some action over there pretty soon. So let me get to this slide so Todd can talk to that. So
Perfect.
Todd, yeah, if you
Okay,
can
so
show them what's happening.
Sorry for standing in front of the screen, but this is where the two water features are that we showed you earlier that we're working on, right? So the way that the progression of the site work is, it's going to be from the courtyard out between building C and D and out this direction towards the kind of dogleg area that we're talking about. Why is it important? Because all of this is black colored concrete, and I'm no thermal expert, but putting black concrete down, placing that in the middle of summer is pretty miserable because it absorbs heat and heat kicks off the finishing process. So we're starting that here, actually the second week of June. So by the end of this month, upcoming work is we're going to have grading crews back out, getting the rest of everything graded around the site. Then our concrete crews will remobilize and we'll start taking this decorative concrete from the existing water feature area around that and towards what's over here. We call it the bocce ball court area. So I've given a challenge to our field superintendent, Glenn, who's in charge of the site work. I said, you need to be done with site work and out of here by the 1st of August. Go. So that's the plan. So we are, to answer your question, is we will have the landscaping done around. We have to have the landscaping done to get final C of O and to get temporary certificate of occupancy. We have to have some sign off from the counties so that they can see that we're pretty close to being done. Like sidewalks, like this little area over here that we got to get buttoned up. That's our access to get around here. We also have a little area over here that's got to get buttoned up. So we've got a lot of site work that we need to start doing and getting focused on, but we have to work our way, not paint ourselves into a corner, if you will. We have to start in the corner and work our way towards the door. So the door is right here and right here. So our progression of site work, again, will be through here, over to this location, and then from this direction out and about. So you'll start seeing, if anybody lives in buildings B or C, you'll see a large focus of exterior operations, sunshades, tile on the patios, handrails, all that stuff, working in that progression around here and then this way out. The south side isn't really that important to us. It's important to get done, but we can access all of the south side from boom lifts out on the pavement. The pavement doesn't hold up the operations of dirt work and concrete hardscape because we're already on those finished surfaces. So we're going to work our way out of the corners in such a direction. Does that give everybody a good idea? And does that answer your question? Awesome. So that's our upcoming work for site operations here for around buildings D and E. So a lot of stuff going on there because there's lots of procurement of more pots and decorative landscape features and things of that sort. So
yeah, Todd said something interesting. I thought, well, maybe more than one thing interesting, but something interesting I heard was, we talk a lot about occupancy and we talk about landscaping and stuff. One of the things that happens is once all the hardscape and grades are in, we have a professional engineer that has to come out and verify that we built everything to the elevations it's supposed to be built at. So they take shots of all of our sidewalks and curbs and retention areas and all that stuff and confirm all that, and then that gets approved by the county. So that's what Todd's talking about. Like it's really important that, like he said, we get all that stuff in as soon as we can because that process doesn't necessarily happen overnight.
No, it's a 6-week process with the county because they are super expeditious on stuff. So one of the great benefits that we have is that all of the phase 1, phase 2 stuff, that carries approximately 90% of all of the grading and drainage, and it accounts for 100% of all the wet and dry utilities. So we're done with wet and dry utilities. We're done with all of the grading and drainage with the exception of about 12 catch basins in these areas. Catch basins are where the surface water drains to and then it takes off underground. We've got 12 of those points that Sean was talking about we have to take survey shots on. That is a lot faster than having to go through and do 1,200 lineal feet of curb checks and all of the drain basins and all of the verifications of valves and manhole lids, and all the things that are required. For months, we were telling you about all the struggles we had in basin number 12 back up around F and G buildings. So that stuff is in our rearview mirror. We don't have any of that difficult grading and drainage to do from now on. We don't have any more basins to build and certify volumes. So our site work package is really really full steam ahead of just getting surface work done. So landscapers will be remobilizing the next couple weeks to start doing all of the sleeving underneath sidewalks and things of that sort. So we are in really great shape as far as the amount of civil work we have left to do compared to what we've done. We've done the lion's share of it so far. Yes, ma'am. Where is the little dog park going to be? The little cute dog park is right over here in this space, right over here, just on the east side of Building E. Good question. Yes, ma'am. You did hear correct. There is a bocce ball court, and that happens to be parallel to the north face of D here in this courtyard here. So we call that our bocce ball courtyard area. That's where we have a lot of our construction materials. That's where we're getting all of our trash and stuff out. Part of the question in regards to how are we going to start landscape while we have trash and dumpsters in here. From Grand Avenue, in the next couple of weeks, you'll see a trash chute that'll be attached to the outside of the bridge structure. We met with a scaffold company yesterday. That's where we're going to start getting all of our trash out of. So south of the bridge here, between buildings D and E, will be a trash chute. So it'll be 4x4. It'll be 45, 50 feet tall. You'll be able to see it from Grand Avenue, but that's how we're going to get all of our trash out of there so we can centralize our dumpster location to right where this bridge access is, and then free up all the site work over here. So we get all our glasses and all the windows out there, and that was what was staged in that area for a long time, and we were using it for dumpsters because it was real centralized. Now we're just going to have to move our trash location disposal to another area, which is what our plan is for the next couple weeks. So we can start building the bocce ball court.
How about on the inside, Todd? You want to talk about our sequence?
Inside's great. So we've got lots of work going on over here. We're actually installing cabinets on the second floor of Building D we call it the West Wing. So we're over there. We're progressing. Gypcrete's done. We'll be fully painted out. We've got a couple floors of doors that are in progress. First and third floor has doors going on. So over the next 4 weeks, we'll be doing nothing but getting geared up. Corbin's main job is to get the electric room that's right in this location energized so we can feed power out to those units, turn AC on, and start conditioning the spaces. So we'll be able to get flooring in probably early to mid-June-ish in those areas. We call it D North. In D North, we are hot and heavy. There's 8 living units and 1 community room on the first floor. And then above that, each floor has 9 living units. We are doing a floor a week in ductwork that is below the fire-rated ceiling. So we call it the drop ceiling. When you guys walk into your units and the ceiling's a little bit lower in the kitchen, then it opens up in the living room. That drop ceiling is what hides all the mechanical ductwork. We are blazing away and turning over a week of floor. So by the end of this month, we'll be topped out with all of our HVAC ductwork inside units. And then about a week and a half into June, we'll be done with all of the last 2 remaining floors of ductwork in Building E. First and second are already done. So therefore, by the end of the month of May, we will be doing production sheetrock on the lower floors, first and second floor. And by then, we'll also have first and second floor production rock. We call it production rock, which is all the finished sheetrock you see inside your unit. We'll have those floors done by the end of May also. So we'll have 4 floors of sheetrock done. Tape and texture will be blazing away. So lots and lots and lots of interior work going on.
We met with the drywaller on Monday actually and talked to him about just keeping everybody he's got over here right now and getting a second crew that's just starting over here to try to sort of get all of these aligned. I think the outcome was pretty positive. He thought he could probably do that, which would definitely help.
Yeah.
And
the unique thing that we think about is we only think about one job, right? This is the only job in the entire valley that matters to us.
Yeah.
And that's all we care about. But as dealing with trade partners, they've got jobs all over the place. And if it's multifamily for multi-level, or if it's single-family residence between like Pulte and Del Webb and all the other places that are building away, well, those things are starting to slow down. So we can thank the interest rates for slowing that down, because it's
Yeah.
giving us additional sheetrock hangers to come over and hit
Yeah.
some lower floors of building E.
He did, yeah. It was pretty interesting conversation. At least I thought it was funny. He was very honest. He gave us initially a pretty large price for accelerating, and I said, well, I don't understand what that's for, right? You've got the same amount of labor per unit that we just need more units being worked on at one time, right? And he said, well, that number I gave you is sort of the number that I came up with for telling all my other jobs that they had to wait, and I was taking their people off them to go do Royal Oaks. And um, that was his pain. That was his people yelling at him number, basically, that he gave us. But yeah, I think we had 104 people this morning at our safety meeting.
Craft
I
force,
want
yeah.
to say craft force, which is pretty good. We didn't see, what we were hoping and counting on is that when these buildings opened, the craft force shifted over here, not that people left. And I think in large part we've seen that, right? Because we were sitting at probably 130 people,
Yeah, when we were working in buildings D, E, B1, B and C, and also F and G, we had about 135 to 140.
Yeah.
So some of those folks have gone over to Vita Center, so there's probably 45, 50 over there, and now we're at 104 just inside buildings D and E. So we really haven't been, we haven't suffered from a loss of manpower. We're actually in the process of ramping
Okay.
things up. So,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
So yeah, so we're pretty pleased with that. So, what else? Yes, sir. Harvey, we talked about that at the event a little bit. The initial microwaves were about 13 inches from the stovetop to the bottom of the microwave, and the first residents, were not super happy with that because you couldn't fit like a stock pot or some of that stuff under there. And so the microwaves and cabinets, everything was then raised up to the level that you now see in building B and C. I don't know that there's any plan to change that necessarily. That would be up to Royal Oaks. Right now, everything is designed at, I can't remember what the distance is there, maybe
I don't either.
like 18 inches, maybe, something like that. So I think they moved up about 5 or 6 inches from where they were before. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah. The minimum is like 13 to 14 inches. It's somewhere in there, and it's there's codes and manufacturer's recommendations, right? Your stove is not going to your stove manufacturer or micro manufacturer don't want those two this close to each other, right? So I think my s- I guess my suggestion would be that's really a sort of a standard height that we're putting them at, and then anything would be probably post occupancy as far as moving them up or down. Um, and probably be more on Royal Oaks.
Yeah, yeah, Sean. Harvey, you're welcome to contact refurbishing, Becca in refurbishing. She's the one who, at the time of move-in, will, get your ceiling fans from you, and as the time nears, that's when you would want to bring that up. That's when she'll be reaching out to you to see if you want more can lights or any other changes in your home.
Yeah, we completely understand that situation. We almost didn't get occupancy for the villas because we were out of code tolerance at the villas. We got lucky. We read the manufacturer's installation information, and the code always is superseded by manufacturer's installations, and we were just barely within tolerance for the manufacturer's installation, so we were able to hang our hat on that to get C of O for the villas. After that happened, that's when we had some discussions with Royal Oaks and the design team about the change that was made for the rest of the units to raise them to where they're at. So Sean's correct. Well, probably the best thing to do is to reach out to refurbishing and get those taken care of on a case-by-case basis. I mean, since we're up here on the stage, yeah, I can understand why it would be great for us to fix those things. Unfortunately, we have to do all the code compliance stuff in order to get everybody in the building. Because if we don't do code compliance stuff in the building, we're not going to get September. So, yes, ma'am. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so we'll have to look at that on a case-by-case basis with where the ceilings are. Gotcha.
Yeah, but I think all the microwaves are the same because the cabinet above them changed, right? You don't have the scenario, I don't believe, where you've got the cabinets coming across and where you have more space. That upper cabinet goes up and then back down. I think that cabinet shrunk in to where the microwaves are all at the same height, regardless of whether you have the lower or higher ceiling.
All right. Upcoming work for Vita Center?
Oh yeah, we're past time, and
Oh.
I forgot to give you a Vita
Oh,
Center
no,
aerial,
Vita.
so-
Okay, well that's cool. We're gonna get much closer to being done. So as I mentioned, we have power on this week. Then we'll be over the next month getting millwork, painting happening next week. We're closing the last couple of front entry doors in the near future, and then being able to start up the HVAC system so that way we can get everything acclimatized in there. And then we're finishing out real fast and furious the aquatherapy room with the decorative ceiling that's in there. And then we'll start filling the pool system, the water feature, the therapy system towards the end of the month. So provided we get everything flowing smooth with the county and water meters and all sorts of other hoops we have to jump through. But if all else fails, we've got water we can get off of a hydrant to fill that thing and start getting it tested. So that's what's happening in the Vita Center.
All right, any last questions, thoughts? All right, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.